What more can be said for our humble beginnings as a squire? Our battles filled with trudging around the battlefield donned in leftover gear, handed down from the lofty knights we are destined to one day become. The answer is not much, as your experience with this job should be short-lived. Having barely any abilities worth consideration to learn, and easily outpaced in terms of equipment and stats, it is quite obvious the new player needs to get out of this starter class as early as possible. Hi, I'm Mikey from Tactics Live Tournament, and today I have another episode in the Job Focus series. The goal of these videos is to crack open the hood on each class, present technical information in a simplified way, and help you make better choices when raising your squad. In today's Job Focus, we're going to do a deep dive into the Squire class, as deep as we're able to, looking at their equipment choices, how their abilities work, and touch on how to manage their stats for the brief time we spend as a Squire. If you are just now getting past the tutorial stage and wondering how much longer you need to hold on to this lackluster class before getting on to more exciting jobs, or you're curious if there is a place for a melee unit that can actually shine in a multiplayer roster, then grab your practice swords, stand at attention, ready that training dummy, as we get into a Squire Job Focus session. Primarily designed to welcome a new player into the world of Final Fantasy Tactics, the Squire is the first step into the melee job tree and offers several glimpses into future jobs by means of introducing abilities of all types. None of these abilities have any staying power and are easily left behind once you gain a single job level as a Squire. The main area of intrigue for this job is their equipment choices, which aren't unique to the Squire, but can give the player an avenue to wield certain weapons before other jobs may be available. The Squire is a starting class and has no prerequisites to unlock. Let's further examine the job that starts off our melee journey and how best we can prepare for the road ahead. Despite their lack of experience, Squires do have some options when it comes to dealing damage. Squires can equip knives, swords, flails, and axes. Axes have the same random damage profile as flails, which is between 1 in your PA multiplied by weapon power. Axes are of particular interest for this job, especially later on when their weapon power reaches super high levels. In this case, I would look to equip a golden axe from Melee or Rendezvous, otherwise a slasher from the shop will work just fine. For armor, you have clothes to choose from, and the decision to bolster your PA for stronger melee attacks or speed to enable you to act more often can be tough. I prefer stronger melee attacks, and I look for items like headband for +2 PA. Body armor like power garb to further boost PA is a great choice and readily available. If you lean on the defensive side, try out Brave Suit for re-raise and regen. Finally, for accessories, you can't go wrong further boosting your PA with a bracer, though adding another 2 move with Guy's Galige is a great option as well. Let's take a quick look at Fundaments, the Squire skill set, and which abilities to learn for this job so you can decide how best to utilize your time. Our first ability to consider is Focus for 300 job points, which increases your PA by 1. This is a great early game ability that lets you literally punch above your weight, but at a pretty high cost. Next, we have Stone for 90 job points, allowing you to throw a projectile with random damage and a 50% chance to knock back your target. Not particularly useful outside of waking up sleeping allies, and your job points can be better spent elsewhere. Salve for 150 job points cures some minor debuffs, namely poison, silence, and blind statuses with a height range of 2 and a lateral range of 1. Again, this ability is not super useful and can be safely skipped. Last, we have Rush for 80 job points, a weak physical attack that has a 50% chance to knock back, which I would not recommend. For reaction skills, we have Counter Tackle, triggered by physical attacks only, and will perform a rush attack if your target is next to you. For 180 job points, this is not worth the investment. For support skills, we have JP Boost for 250 job points, and is the one ability that you cannot go without, as it increases your JP accrual by 50%. We have Beastmaster for 200 job points that allows further monster skills to be unlocked when standing next to them. This can be useful in very specific ways, but otherwise lackluster. We have Equip Axes for 170 job points in case you actually want that potentially hard-hitting double-hand melee swinging for other classes. And finally, Defend at 50 job points, which will double your evasion rates, which is actually not a bad deal earlier in the game for story battles where you know you'll be up against a lot of melee foes. For movement abilities, there is Move +1 for 200 job points, and is definitely debatable if you actually need it, considering a pair of boots accomplish the same thing, and better movement abilities will soon become available. We end up at the Squire's stat line, and that we hope is a little forgiving on the early adventurer. Seems like someone took pity on us, as we got a very nice 4 move and a standard 3 jump and lowly 5% class evasion. At least we can take comfort in knowing we can get into the front lines to deal some damage. With no change to our HP, a small penalty to our MP, 90 to our PA, 80 to our MA, and our speed is unchanged as well, means that we won't have a lot to make up for with equipment, and we may actually have a fighting chance in melee combat. For growth, we get surprisingly good HP growth, pretty bad MP growth, real bad PA growth, and standard MA and speed growth. Given that only the first few levels will be spent here, it's reassuring to see that we won't suffer too much, though keep in mind there are far greener pastures just around the bend. It is probably best to temper your expectations for this starting job, as the Squire does not have a lot to write home about. Luckily, future jobs don't require too much investment in this lowly class, and rest assured, you're not missing out on much at later levels. The one area where Squires can make a difference is unfortunately also random: axes and flails. Combined with enough charges of focus, the Squire can hit surprisingly hard if you're lucky. Squires suffer a little bit in their PA from their class stats, but this deficit can easily be made up for with proper equipment. Since we don't have many useful skills, it would be up to melee damage to deliver value with this unit. Focus is a great ability if you're willing to spend the 300 job points, as it allows the unit to buff themselves in a way that is actually useful. In addition, this fast animation is appreciated when you're grinding out future jobs and need a quick way to secure JP. Arguably the best ability to learn from the Squire is JP Boost for 250 job points. Earning an additional 50% JP with every action is a superb investment for your future grinding, and is enough to get you to job level 2. Lastly, don't be tempted by other abilities on offer, even if the AI makes them look attractive. There are similar abilities from better jobs that will give you better value, so best to just get what you need and get out. This concludes this episode of the Job Focus series with the Squire. Oh man, this could be the most difficult episode to make yet, because beyond that first mission in Garland Magic City, what fond memories could you possibly have of the Squire? Now, learning the fundamentals of War of the Lions is highly advised for all new players, and Squire does indeed offer that to you. Able to do spot debuff cleansing and dealing damage from a distance does prepare you for later jobs the Squire unlocks. But that's basically where the benefit ends, and even new players will find themselves looking for ways to branch out before too long. There is one place where Squires are top-rated units, and that's over at Tactics League, where multiplayer matches are being hosted right now. The current PvP patch has the Squire modified with an impactful skill set, and equipment choices that will have you thinking for hours. Check out more in the links below, and join us in the Discord to be part of the action. If you've learned something today about everyone's favorite starting job, why not throw it a like and show your thanks? If you haven't yet and enjoy this type of content, consider subscribing today to help grow the channel and get more people interested in War of the Lions multiplayer. Feel free to share this or another video in the series with a friend who might be interested, and leave your thoughts in the comments about how you like to approach leveling a Squire in your playthrough. This is Mikey from Tactics Live Tournament signing off. I will see you in the next video. And until then, be well everyone.